Dr. Samuel J. Lombardo, the soul mending alchemist, world renowned. And you can follow me on the web at Soul Mending Alchemist 11 on Instagram, as well as TikTok and Soul Mending Alchemist 1111. I'm also going to have my website up called soulmendingalchemist.com here shortly. So, yes. And I wanted to make a special announcement. First, let me go ahead with my disclaimer. Please take what resonates to you and your personal situation and leave the rest. If it does not apply, then let it fly. Okay. I could be talking to you and I might be talking to them. If it is not talking to them, I could be talking to you. So you can flip, switch, and flop the roles as you do see fit to you and your personal situation. Hello, thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Samuel J. Lombardo, the Soul Mending Alchemist, and I'm happy for you. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, so without further ado, I have a special announcement. I will be leaving out of town, and I will be doing a couple of my lives on a cruise ship. Okay, I'm actually taking a cruise for a little bit of retreat time and like just getting away from everything, probably even reality for here and there in a little bit. I'll be in Hollywood, Florida, and Miami area tomorrow evening to prep for that. So, yeah, so please be with me, bear with me during this time as internet will be minimum, but I will be able to report live from that point. Tonight, I want to talk about something special. I want to talk about how God challenges us. And I'm sure that you all, and this is a channeled message, so this is going to be for whoever this is meant to be. It is general, it is not specific, although there could be some specific topics within the general message that I am presenting here tonight. But I do want to mention, the processes of how God challenges us, okay, as individuals. Hello, thank you for everyone that is viewing right now. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let's definitely, Diablo. Hello, hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi Paquito hablo español. But let me know where you all are viewing from. The last time I had one that was from China, one from Switzerland, even. So yeah, this world-renowned soul mending alchemist here, your best friend on the internet that will not say anything more than the truth that you need to know. Okay, and sometimes even me myself do get it my own training. So hello. Thank you for tuning in. Whoever, so Zane, thank you for tuning in. Please, I really do enjoy that. So I'm going to go right into the message because I only have about 15 to 20 minutes tops. Okay, and this is a very important message here tonight. So to the collective here, I'm going to be speaking to my star seeds. I'm going to be speaking to any readers out there. I'm going to be speaking, even if you're a pastor, if you are someone as a child of God or someone that you're doing the work that God is asking you to do. What's my username? It is Soul Mending Alchemist 1111. And you can follow me on TikTok, Soul Mending Alchemist 1111, as well as Instagram. I am on Instagram as Soul Mending Alchemist 11. Everything's in the description as well. So God does challenge us. Now, have we ever spoken to ourselves, saying, "I think I will. Maybe I should. Uh, Okay, this is a channel message if this is a situation where you're actually doing that. Thinking, I'm being told that thinking is not the same as actually knowing or doing. And what happens is sometimes we keep ourselves from moving forward because we are thinking too much. Okay? Now, why I'm being told that this is for star seeds and that as well is because there is something that you're probably wanting to do, all right? Or maybe there's something that you are about to change, but you don't know. Either for some of you, it could be you don't know the ins and outs of what could take place, or you just simply have a thought and not sure that that thought, what you plan to do, is actually going to be accurate or able to be complete. So, in that case, excuse me, I'm getting the message that we need to focus more on the meditation end of things when we are praying. Praying is one thing, but I also hear the phrase in God's will. Now, if you think about it, right, like say I'm going to go start a business tomorrow, and then you got someone saying next to you, oh, in God's will. But then in the next phrase, they'll actually say, well, I think it would be better if we did it like this. Well, what's happening is we are putting God in the sense of doubt. We're putting ourselves in the sense, okay. Someone needs to use one of their five senses. Their sensory is what I'm getting. That just came out of nowhere. Okay. There's something happening with the five senses. Okay. And maybe that's something that God is challenging you with. It's easy said than done. It's easy to write a book. It's easy to tell somebody, hey, this is how you're going to do it. And are you actually doing it? Are you being aware of what you're doing? Okay. So, in God's will is not saying that you're doing God's will when you're not actually sitting there listening to what God has to say, which is the meditation part of the prayer. So, we can pray and we can talk about God's will, but we can't. It goes back to the last message that I had, right? Where, and maybe not the last one, but the one before that, where I mentioned about, I'm going to pray that God delivers me from this sickness. And then God's trying to tell you how you can get rid of the sickness. So, and what happened? So we're still doing the same prayer that we've done while we're praying, and we're still asking for God and wondering why God hasn't answered prayers. And it's not that God don't answer prayers, it's that we are not making ourselves aware. It's something about self-awareness, right? We are not aligned to what God's will is, because God's will, first of all, if you're manifesting it, it's already happening. I don't know who needs to hear this message, okay? But somebody is struggling with the idea of wanting to do something or take action to do something or make a change or whatever. And what's happening is point blank and period, okay? I'm getting this. Well, God hasn't listened to me. I think that I should. And every time that we think, we're not actually taking the action that we should be taking. So while we are recognizing that God has a will for us, but we also have free will, we're also recognizing, right, that we're putting ourselves first over God. And now that's a whole different thing when that happens, okay? So, yes, we should be well aware of and be self aware, self confident, you know, all those things are like self-love and those things that we are used to. Look, I'm not here to give you milk and bread. I'm here to give you the meat of the actual issue. So what's taking place as to why things aren't happening, like prayers are not being answered. Why do I feel like, I'm being stuck? Okay, well, the first thing that needs to happen is alignment, right? We need to understand the alignment. We need to understand how to get in alignment. We also need to understand the concepts of how to free ourselves from any kind of fear. And now that takes a whole nother ball game, okay? But to free ourselves from the power, if you will, of ego, because sometimes we don't realize that we're getting inner ego. We could be sitting there doing readings, we could sit there and we could actually be doing preaching, coaching sessions or whatnot. But what happens is the reason that it does not provide any or bear any fruit is because we are in our ego, and that ego is not aligned to the actual message. It almost sounds like you're talking about yourself or doing something, right? And is there actually how you know that your message is in alignment with anything is what resonates, right? So are people resonating? Are they understanding what the actual message is? Now, there's a difference between that and somebody being confused because maybe how I present the message might be confusing, and that will technically happen from time to time, especially if I have those real deep messages, because a lot of them that I get are download channeled messages that I don't use tools for. The only tool that I use is my five sensory abilities, right? So, and I use all five of those in the power of one, meaning that I am one person with the power to be able to do. I also have other gifts that I use that I don't need to brag and actually advertise. But in short, casting away demons, healing people from different sicknesses and all that. Um, Being able to do that even from right off the screen, okay? Because what God has provided me is powerful hand. It's because God has asked for a specific calling. All right. And that's for some of you as well. And I feel like I'm not the only one with this scenario. And so never give up on your abilities as well. Showcase them. In fact, because for some of you, you're about to be getting an upgrade. I'm getting that as well. Something about upgrading. Now, for those of you, if it's not spiritual, you could be getting a job promotion. You might be upgrading your status from, say, being single to dating, or maybe you were the one that was dating and somebody's about to propose to you. I'm getting something as something, I don't get this quickly, but what I'm getting is that Be aware of how people are in your energy, because there is going to be people jealous the minute that you receive the upgrade. Whether it's a raise at the job, a promotion, whether you finally found the love of your life and you're ready to be married, whether you're having children and someone else can't have children, or maybe you bear the child and your child looks better than the other one, or maybe they're more gifted, or whatever the case is. It's okay. There's some kind of a, excuse me, there's some kind of an upgrade that is taking place within your life. And God's saying that He is going to challenge you with a test. Oh, that's what it is. Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. And I hope that you like, share, and subscribe. And I am a bit new here. A lot of my gifts are more channeled without needing tools to present those, but yes. Hello, hello. Okay, finishing up what I'm at right now. So I'm hearing that for some of you, you are going to be tested in three ways. First, you're going to be tested in your ego. Okay. And how you're going to be tested in your ego when this upgrade happens. Are you going to be the person that acts as if you are in charge, it's your way or the highway, or are you going to be the one that kind of facilitates what is happening around you? Okay. So, like, for example, if you're sitting there like, oh, I'm getting married and all this, I'm excited. I got this ring, and oh, look at a diamond. Oh my goodness, so it's like bigger than my whole hand. Okay, it's like this, and you're just out there about it, and there's nothing wrong with you actually, showing it off or whatnot. But if you're doing it in the ego of you presenting yourself as, oh, the I in front of everything, and not realizing what God has provided, then this is going to be your warning sign of what God will do now. So this is going to be your make and break moment, if you will, because God is giving you that challenge. That's the warning that I'm getting. So you are going to be tested by your ego. You're also going to be tested by reconciliation, which is how you handle the problems of the past. Because you don't want to be like a pillar of salt, right? Where you're looking back and all of a sudden it's like you feel stuck. What happens is we will tend to make ourselves stuck when we are realizing that we are stuck in the past, not recognizing it. And some of those hints could be something as simple as, let's say you want to make time to do more tarot reads, or you want to do your spiritual business, or whatever the case is. And you're like, well, I really enjoy this job, but should I stay with it? It sounds like a deja vu moment. Again, for somebody, this could be, okay? But it's kind of like rethinking the path of a thought. Well, awesome. Um, like a past thought, if you will, that this is resurfacing. Okay. Well, in that case, the challenge is more or less, there's a reason why God has brought you back to this place again. And maybe this is a reason why this message is coming out here. For some of you, it could be clarification that it's time to accept your upgrade in your spiritual work and to not look back and be stuck, okay, in your past situation. It's like past jobs or going back to a past job or, you know, dealings with, okay? So that's going to be another test. These are all two tests. The other final test, which is the hardest one for a lot of us on the human plane, if you will, and I'm hearing that this test is called loving without judgment. Now, this is where I'm going to leave you because there's a whole download message just on that topic alone. Loving without judgment. But in short, why is God going to be testing us as readers, as spiritual workers, starseeds, etc., on loving without judgment? Why do you think that would actually take place? So a lot of it has to do with what we are allowing within between our will and God's will, but also ego and fears. And it's not so much about us that may be living in ego or fear, so as much as it is about getting rid of and helping others to disassociate from the actual fears and egos. And there are processes that take place with how that happens. And that's what I'm going to be doing my next video about, is the processes that takes place of using the 5 sensory gifts that we have to be able to present a successful spiritual business and healing others. But we need to know how that works for us in order for us to be able to really, truly understand how it works for our clients. Okay? And so, loving without judgment, it sounds like it could be something easier said than done. But when that statement happens, the first thing that has to take place is when we are praying, we have to listen to God, like extremely carefully. Whether it's God, source, universe, however you're going to put that into your package of manifestation, because I will tell you, some people are talking manifestation, but if you're not using your gifts in the way that God is intending us to use them, and I'm not talking about making a judgment on, oh, am I actually using them correctly? Because it could simply just be, you know, for some of us, it could actually be a reactivation. I'm hearing something about something being reactivated. And there's a few of you that, unfortunately, maybe you're hearing too much and it's in the ego. Like say for example, you're looking for love yourself, but you're listening to a bunch of love songs, so your clairvoyance, right, with the hearing is, oh, I hear this song, I hear that song, but could it possibly be that God is telling you something, or is it an aligned message that would be resonating for others? Well, if we just right away assume, now for some of us, we would know the difference, because if we're actually doing reads or intuitive messages like what I'm doing right now, you will get an intuitive nudge of a song. That just happens. Like, twinkle, twinkle, little star. I don't know why I'm getting that. Maybe someone twinkle. That's not what I technically really meant to say. Someone, what the twinkle is all about? Sprinkles? Something that rhymes with that, right? Wrinkles. Maybe somebody is scared about getting old. I don't know. So there are these weird type of vibe messages that I'm getting right now, where there could be someone that realized they're getting old and they have the fear of like the wrinkles. Okay. 1212 on the timer. So yes, that would actually be a confirmation. If any of you do follow me from before in other video, loud beeps, racing cars, bicycles, planes flying over, any like bomb-like sounds because being near a military based area, and also angel numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 12, 11, 11, 10, 10, 8, 8, 8, you know, things like that that show up during the feed. Like 26, 26 right now could be significant. All right. They are all confirmations, okay, that I utilize within. So, some of you, it could literally actually be that there could be your own fears that could be elevated into what we call like our own reality that then needs to be checked. And it's okay. We should have our little check boxes anyway to make sure that we are doing what we need to be doing. I know I do that. You know, I don't want to sit there and have this on my person that I won't communicate with somebody or whatever because I'm still. Here's a good example. Another message I'm getting right now as I'm going through what I'm talking about is an example of living in fear energy or in your ego is whether or not you yourself personally have a grudge on anybody at all that may have done anything towards you. I'm telling you, this test is not as easy as we think that it is. Okay? It is not. And I've been through a couple of these. But for you to be activated to the next level of be upgraded in our gifts, it is necessary. Now, for some of you, it may even feel like and even sound like a karmic lesson. No, the reason that you're being tested is because technically you're being ordered to test whoever is within your arena. Because let's say, for example, I'm just going to give you a wide example of what I'm trying to speak about because we go on deep topics here. Okay. Real deep. Like we're talking like you can't get deep. Okay. So, a good example would be, right, as something as simple as let's say someone has stolen $100 from you and you were broke, right? Does the same effect of what you're doing now have this same effect? Does the same person that stole that $100 that they actually, how can we say that regardless of how they change, that we should not follow through with what God's asking us to do? Do you see what I'm getting at? So, like, if the person that stole the $100 from you is seeking healing, and then they went through their karmic lessons for that specific situation, if there's a reason that that person is coming back into your life, and I'm talking about walking in unexpectedly, I'm not talking about someone forcing themselves, like where they're online and they found you, or they're making fake profiles to find you, or they're hoping to walk in a store because they know and they remember that you're there. No, I'm talking about like it is fated that you have met with somebody that perhaps you may have had a grudge with. And if that grudge was something as simple as, for example, someone that stole $100 from you, would that same effect be the same way today as it was then? That's what I mean by God saying he's going to put a touch to us with love without judgment. And it goes much deeper. We're talking about the mother that was drunk and gets high every night and would not watch you type of energy. Yes, it equals that situation, because a lot of what I noticed the collective sent a lot of readers on is there has been a lot of dissatisfaction that has hyped up their gifts that God wants to be able to expand and activate for some of you where they may have not even been activated yet. For a lot of you that are already doing this, who are being upgraded. Okay. God will do the upgrades as you're showing to him that you are capable of the upgrade. Because God is not going to give you something that you're not able to handle. And that is very pure and honest, what I have to say. There's going to be a lot on this channel that a lot of you are going to learn. Okay. And some of them could also be, even for the type of work that I do, sometimes even in my own online experiences, I could be somebody's karmic lesson, and I could also be somebody's blessing, all at the same time on the same read. I've seen it happen already early on. Like I said, I just been consistent in the past maybe few months, if that. So don't mind me. I kind of have to go a little dark because I am driving, so I'll be focused on the driving. Yeah, some people ask, how do you actually give messages? How can you channel while you're driving? Well, guess what? As a spiritual alchemist being put together, it's a proven fact that you can multitask. And that's what this is. It's multitasking the rules of the land, but also God speaking to you. In other words, God is steering the wheel where I need to go because he knows all things anyway. But I'm still able to pull the messenger. Since sometimes you are like, that's why we call the earth angels, hint, hint, with a wink. Okay, you can't quite see it, but there we go. The idea of us actually being earth angels, believe it or not, is sometimes God uses our voices for the healing and the understanding for others that may be lost. And so my voice could literally be like an angel to anyone out there that might be having an issue with understanding the five sensories to their gifts. That could be creating their energy being stuck. And yes, chakras have a whole lot to do with it, depending on the situation, like depending what the addictions are, like the throat and all that, dealing with what we put into our system, right? Our sacral, right? Do we have addictions down there that we need that need to be healed? Okay, there are many different things, like our root chakra, right? Well, what would be an example of an addiction on a root chakra? It's like buying so many things, right, that our credit falls apart, so we're not really structuring it. Or better yet, it's like, let's use the metaphor of building a house, and you're trying to put the roof up without having the foundation. Okay? It's given that kind of vibe. There could be some of you that, that's part of my calling as well, leading the leaders, right? And there are very few of us that do that, where we have that gift to be able to lead the leader. So that's part of the reason for a lot of my videos is to give other readers, other intuitive messengers, other channelers, etc., the understanding why certain things could make them stuck, even though that they are presenting the messages. Excuse me. And so, and they are doing wonderful work. Okay, there is nothing to say that you are not doing that. Yeah, I know. Maybe not at the moment, but usually when I go in there, people people watch them later. That's what I've been noticing. So I'm going to continue talking here for a moment, but I do want to let any collective know whether anyone does watch, which probably is not going to happen between now and the next 2 minutes when I log off. But whether anyone does come on or later, loving without judgment is really freeing us from anything of which would not be aligned to God's will or purpose. So that is technically that's the bottom line, okay, in regards to like what is taking place as far as a leader who's teaching the leaders anyway. And some of you may have that calling, all right, whether you're writing a book, doing podcasts, whatever the case is. You're having a way of where you could teach others to build on their brands, okay, is what I'm hearing too. You can be building on your brands, and those brands will, they'll either flourish or they may not. So that's how you will know, because all this has to do with God's judgment that he's already proposed back in earlier messages, if you follow through in the back of those. So I am going to end it right here anyway, because it's 40 minutes in and I pretty much am done. But next week you will see me, and I will actually be on a cruise ship in the nice sunshine, because I'm like, again, I'm relaxing and I'm taking myself away from, quote, reality, if you will, of the workforce, and I'm bringing myself to a special treat. Um, and so I wanted to bring you guys along for the float as well. All right, till next time, have a wonderful and blessed evening, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.